You are now watching The Beach.
Ooh. Things are certainly not going to get better for Nintendo after this Direct. As I'm sure all of us are aware, Nintendo had their Direct for Mario Kart World. After all, we're not living under a rock. But Nintendo might just be. Because this Nintendo Direct, there's a lot to say. When it comes to a game-specific Nintendo Direct, what they're designed for, they're designed to highlight aspects of a game that wouldn't be covered in a typical Nintendo Direct. Usually because there's just not enough time to cover details. In the Super Mario Bros. Wonder Direct, we got information like new power-ups, new worlds, the badges, all kinds of stuff. And if you really want to go back, the original Mario Kart 8 Direct was absolutely unhinged. It was structured like an episode of Bill Nye the Science Guy, had some of the cheesiest skits you could ever imagine, and it was just pure unhinged Wii U era Nintendo, and I can't help but love it. I wish they still made Nintendo Directs like that. But again, Steve and Suzie have been laid off. They're not part of Nintendo Directs anymore. It's a rough economy, I'll tell you that. Especially considering that this game is going to be $80. Going into this Nintendo Direct, the thing all of us were thinking, what is going to make this game worth $80? What is so revolutionary and groundbreaking about Mario Kart World to justify that price tag? Because for a lot of us, we have not seen $80 games in our lifetime. So Mario Kart World has positioned itself to be one of the greatest games of this generation. After this Nintendo Direct, I have many thoughts, so without further ado, is it going to be worth $80? Going into the Nintendo Direct, I expected quite a bit considering that Nintendo had a game-specific Direct and a lot of build-up for it. But starting things off, they talked about the courses of the game. We got to see them in better detail considering that with a lot of the courses, it was just from the demo footage, and that was just a TV screen recorded. It was nice seeing them in full detail, but still, we knew about these courses. This is not new information. One of the things I was the most interested to see in this Nintendo Direct was the roster. Because with the roster in Mario Kart World, what we saw before, it's been absolutely crazy. So many enemies are playable. You even got non-playable characters like the cow and the Pianta finally playable. So with the roster, it was fair to expect more information about characters. Specifically fan favorites returning. Everybody was wondering, where is Diddy Kong? Maybe where's Funky Kong? Is Petey Piranha gonna come back? Maybe Koopa Paratroopa will come back considering how many enemies there are in the game. But from what I've seen, and I could always go back to the footage and slow it down to see if there were more characters that I missed, there's none of that. I didn't see any fan favorite characters return in this Nintendo Direct. This would have been the perfect time to confirm characters like Diddy Kong, or even the Koopalings. We saw advertisements for the Koopalings throughout the tracks, so I think it's fair to assume they would be in the game. Yet again, if you have all the Koopalings in a game, it's fair to expect Bowser Jr. will be playable. But as we all know with the original Mario Kart 8 roster, expectations can be deceiving. So maybe they're not in the game? There's no way of knowing now. But considering they felt the need to have an entire Nintendo Direct for Mario Kart World, would have been the perfect time to confirm characters. I won't fully judge the roster until the game releases because there could be unlockables, but let's just say that all the new characters are just enemies and NPCs. It's really cool seeing characters like Goomba and the cow playable, but this would be a similar problem to what Mario Kart 8 had, where it felt like the roster was padded out. And considering the price tag, and how long it's been since Mario Kart 8, there's been plenty of time to have as many characters as you could imagine. Adding characters into Mario Kart is not like it would be in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, where they all have different movesets and the balancing's more complicated. There are certain stats, sure, but at the end of the day, it's not that hard. Mario Kart Tour had almost every character from the Mario Kart series, and that was a mobile game. I'm really expecting a lot more here. Because as it stands, this is kind of disappointing. They go over more stuff we already knew about, We at least know the food bags do exactly what we expected them to. Grab one and you can get a costume. I will say it's a pretty clever and cute way to get the costumes, so no problem there. They also went over the new items, which, of course, we already knew about all the new items. I was convinced that there would be special items considering that Wario is holding tuba bombs in the box art, and if you've played Mario Kart Tour, you'd know that his special item, are tuba bombs. But there's no special items apparently? That's really weird. He's holding tuba bombs, could just be for the box art, maybe I'm overthinking things. But still, considering the price tag, it's fair to expect a little more, isn't it? But then, they go into some details that we didn't know about. The main new mechanic being the rewind feature, where let's just say you miss a jump. You can rewind back in time, rewind YouTube style, and hopefully can correct that jump. You would think that this could break the game or make it too easy, but the opponents will not rewind with you, so you gotta use it sparingly. When they announced rewind, we were about 10 minutes into this 15-minute direct. So most of this direct so far has been nothing but information we already knew about. But finally, we got to know some new information about the game. You know those P-switches that are all throughout the world? We know what they do now. By hitting a P-switch, you can collect coins to unlock, get ready for this guys, missions! Okay, if the missions are like how they were in Mario Kart DS, or better yet, if they're structured like they are in Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled, this will give Mario Kart World a major step up from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. One thing I've wanted in Mario Kart for so long is more single player content, a story mode of sorts, and seeing missions return is great. But this would have been the perfect time to fully showcase what these missions were. They did not go in enough detail about them. This would have been the perfect opportunity to go into more detail about the missions. They really should have gone into more detail about them because this Nintendo Direct, unlike the burgers that they eat to unlock costumes, it has been a nothing burger. I'm really hoping that best case scenario they just don't want to spoil anything. But really, why not show just one boss if there are bosses? Show more missions. Anything. Nintendo really set themselves up with this Nintendo Direct. They said wait for the Direct to fully see why this game is $80. But right now, it's not looking like it's going to be worth that $80. But really, the only major disappointment I had from this Nintendo Direct, because the other things, maybe they're just avoiding spoilers, but this is not something that it's avoiding spoilers. They couldn't fix the frame rate for split-screen multiplayer. It is still going to be 30 frames per second, which is unacceptable. This is a console that focuses on power, and to still have it at 30 frames for split-screen 4-player? I don't get it. I don't understand why. They have done it before where they had 60 frames per second for 4-player in Mario Kart Double Dash. I don't understand why this became a problem starting with Mario Kart Wii. And one more thing worth bringing up, it doesn't seem like there's much to the battle mode in this game, which is really disappointing. Considering that when Mario Kart 8 Deluxe released, it was all about the battle mode, you would expect the fun battle modes to return. But really, I hope there's more to this battle mode, because from what we've seen so far, it looks disappointing. Before giving this Nintendo Direct an overall rating and the final verdict, I wanted to go over the amount of tracks. It seems that there are only 32 tracks in the game. This was a standard for Mario Kart up until Mario Kart 8, where that had 32 tracks to begin with, but then it got DLC. But for a new Mario Kart game that released 11 years after Mario Kart 8, that's also $80, it seems rather low. It might be a situation where I still have a lot of fun playing the 32 tracks, but for this kind of game, 48 would really be the minimum. With the tracks, like with the roster, I don't want to fully judge the amount of them until the game fully releases, but if it's only 32 tracks, that is going to be disappointing. So overall, what did I think of this Nintendo Direct for Mario Kart World? Well, as you can probably gather by now, it was pretty much all information we already knew about. I wouldn't even call this a Nintendo Direct. This is what you call an overview or a glorified advertisement for the game. They didn't really showcase much new. They didn't go into detail about what the missions really were. And when it comes to terms of justifying the $80 price tag, please, this Nintendo Direct did not do that. I will say, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe seems to have more content than Mario Kart World. Sure, you could argue that it's a full open world now and the scope is grander, but in the grand scheme of things, when it comes to the intermissions, how fun are they going to be in between tracks? Are you really going to play a lot of free roam once you clear all the missions? That is one thing that I'm worried about for Mario Kart World. Will it be a substantial amount of content compared to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe? And I'm not talking about Mario Kart 8 Deluxe with the Booster Course Pass. I'm talking about base Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, with 48 tracks and the incredible battle mode. At the end of the day, we'll have to wait and see until the game fully releases. I'm still excited for Mario Kart World. It's going to be a fun time at the very least. But considering the anticipation for it, how long it's been since Mario Kart 8, how much time there's been to develop a new game, it's fair for the expectations to be really high even if it wasn't $80. But if you're on the fence about Mario Kart World, mostly due to the price, I can say, judging based on this Nintendo Direct, I wouldn't get it day one. I'm gonna get it day one. I'm gonna do a review of it. So I'll buy it so you don't have to. I'll give my full thoughts on it. I'm not gonna hold anything back. But considering what they did not show in this Nintendo Direct, they have a lot to prove. Overall, the Mario Kart World Nintendo Direct gets 4 out of 10. While having missions announced was really cool, they did not go in enough detail about them. This Nintendo Direct was a ton of filler and information we already knew about. And unfortunately, leaving this Direct, I had more questions than answers about Mario Kart World. And I'm not convinced that this is going to be the ultimate Mario Kart just yet. I will be playing it early at the Nintendo Switch 2 experience, so that's going to be very exciting. And you'll hear my full thoughts on that. But in the meantime, Rob has been designated to bike!
It's a coping mechanism.